You know what's wild? After centuries of honing our understanding of anatomy, composition, color theory, lighting, etc., learning all those technical skills, we've spent the last 60 odd years kicking out all that knowledge of what we see and sell as high art. And it isn't usually the artists who don't care, though some don't. It isn't us regular people who want to visit museums and leave without thinking a 5-year-old could have painted most of what was in there, but we're not the ones who have first, second, or final say in anything related to what's real art. The people who do are not looking for beauty or meaning, skill or talent. Collectors and art dealers that sell the trends are hunting for only one thing: shock value. If it confuses or enrages the public, great, it could be a hit. Bonus points if the artists can describe it in a way that you need a thesaurus and a degree in BS to understand. Meanwhile, artists and art lovers in the real world are left questioning why this is worth $40,000, but pieces that you would actually want on your wall are no longer considered as valuable. There's a canyon between the artists you find at marketplaces, who have Etsy shops and Instagram posts, or who end up in smaller galleries, and the branded media darlings who end up in the large-scale galleries and auction houses. The only thing that matters is the name, the brand. And that brand goes with the artist or the collector no matter what they make. For these types of branded or established artists, it's not about skill or anything remotely tangible or gradable, it's all about the shock value. When branded artists make this or this, with descriptions like inspired from the intestinal tract of a human and hippo showing the connectedness of life, or this painting questions our perceptions and identity. No, wait, those are wrong descriptions there. It's something about cardboard boxes of late-stage capitalism's spiritual void, and the other is the fragility of life. Wait a minute. Well, these two paintings go with two of those descriptions, but can you tell which two and which two I just made up? And can you guess which one actually goes with either of these paintings? When art represents nothing, it can mean anything, and thus be sold for anything. And this is the high-end art world now. It doesn't reward skill, it values spectacle. The more outrageous, the higher the price tag. Branded artists sell products, not artworks. Okay, here's the rub. Even if you're not the one chasing shock value, the art world still exerts pressure for you to accept it as art. Why? Because whatever becomes innovative and daring for major galleries and collectors is what starts to become the default. The trickle-down effect is real and it messes with everyone. Every time you go to a local gallery and fair and see all the shapeless blobs that look like they could belong in a hotel lobby to add color and be ignored, that is because the style is trickled down from the fine arts world, where the innovation of major galleries has been repeated and copied, but without the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to lend it any air of legitimacy. And we've reached the point where art schools start excluding technical skill because it doesn't work with conceptual art. If the top of the art market is celebrating a pile of candy in a corner as high art, smaller spaces and schools start to doubt the creatives that focus on realism or impressionism or anything that is not conceptual abstraction. And culturally, we've just become used to devaluing any form of sincerity, especially the earnest sincerity you really need to create realism in any of its forms. Just look at any popular movie from the last decade to see how little sincerity is valued when irony is an option. Meanwhile, real people who may be looking for art to hang in their homes are left baffled and out in the cold, where there are no loss of experts and fine art fanatics who will tell you you're just too dumb or uneducated or probably poor to understand why a stuffed rotting corpse of a shark is worth $12 million. Side note, the book based on this phenomenon is fantastic, and if you want to spend a few hours with your jaw on the floor at the mind-boggling stupidity that passes for the modern art world, I recommend it. It's a fantastic read. So who actually wins from this upside-down system? Not the artists, that's for sure. Most of them will never reach the level of branded where you could sell a painting made from urine, yes, that's a real thing, for buco bucks. Conceptual artists can spend their whole career making ungradable art and hoping they'll luck out in selling it, and a lot of them do. realism artists, we can sell to real people who actually enjoy our art, but we're no longer considered for the fine art space. Viewers of art aren't faring much better. There's more artists in the world now than ever, but there's also more art that no one wants to buy. The only real winners are the dealers and collectors. Art now is just another asset for them, like a stock portfolio washed in acrylics. Pieces can be bought over the phone or over the internet by the secretaries of millionaires because what the piece actually looks like doesn't matter. And if the artwork happens to cause a stir, all the better, because it'll just sell better in the next couple years, or months even, when they want to trade one asset for another. The people who benefit, ironically, from art are the people who care about it the least. The ones for whom it's just a status symbol like a yacht or a sports car. And just to be clear, I don't have any problem with people who happen to have money. That's great and fantastic for you. I do have a problem when art is treated like a commodity. If you want another status symbol, buy an island. Stop buying art that you wouldn't actually put in your home and want to look at every day. So where does that leave skill? Forgotten, a bygone relic of stupider people who came before. The ones who, gasp, actually wanted to look at beautiful works and admire the skill that went into creating a masterpiece. Art that requires skill to create is now the niche, the outdated subcategory that really makes it into the fine art world. But skill isn't dead, not the artists who actually care and the art lovers who want to understand what a piece is without having to read the placard about it. Skill still exists for the people who view and create art that actually speaks for itself. Real people still want real art, and there are artists creating it with sincerity and skill and aiming to beautify their and our world rather than arguing while ugly should be accepted too. And it's time we start saying this aloud to the art world rather than just on the corners of the internet. And I don't think it's actually that much of a fringe opinion anymore, but we're so used to thinking that conceptual is just the way art is now. We need to remember that most people actually want art that's meaningful and beautiful and emotionally resonating. Well, that's enough of that. I look forward to hearing from all you lot of yahoos out there, so leave us with a downvote and hate comment and all the YouTube things.